Okay, so now that we have this colored in, well, blocked in, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring with the dark color in the background. I like to use dark colors. I like to block in my darkest areas first for some reason, and I know it's not the greatest idea. If you're a beginner, I recommend that you start with your lightest colors and then go to your darker colors. Basically, all you want to do is color around the outline of the other colors of grass. Okay, so now I'm going to start on the lighter grass, and then I'll start with my, then I'll go with my very lightest grass, and then I will color this grass here, and then the ground. Okay, so now that I've got all of the dark areas in, I'm going to start with the lighter color, the mid-tone. So here we go. Okay, so now I've got the mid-tone colored in. So I'm going to start with the lightest tone, and since we are doing a picture where the grass splits and there's a little clearing where it's going to be soil here where the mouse is sitting on, you do want to keep in mind that there are going to be dark and mid-tone colors down here as well, but I'm going to go over all of it with the light color first and then add in the darks and mid-tones down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And a good tip, if your marker is dry and dying, is to take both ends off of the marker, because when you hold it up and down like this, it will make the ink flow easier to the bottom of the pen, because there's no suction back here holding the ink up. Kind of like when you put your finger on the end of a straw and you pull it out of your drink and there's still liquid in the straw, and then when you take your finger off the end of the straw, that's kind of the same principle that that markers work on, especially the two-ended ones. I know that single-ended markers a lot of times will have a vent type system so that you can get as much airflow as you can out of, or ink flow as you can out of the marker. But since Copics are double-ended, they don't have that system, so it just makes it a lot easier to do large areas if you take the lid off. Okay, so now that I'm done with the light tone, I am going to show you a method that a lot of people call palette blending. And basically you just have a piece of plastic, like a Ziploc bag would work or something like that, and you put a little bit of color onto it. If you can see it like that. You can't really see it, but you take like a darker color like this, and then you put a little ink onto this piece of plastic, and then you take your lighter marker and pick up some of that color with your lighter marker, and then you're able to bring some color in without it being too dark. Because I don't have a very good light green color. This is a really light green color, and then the only other color I have that's in between G03 and G20 is YG3, and that's such a yellow color, and it's not really what I need. So I'm going to be doing this palette blending technique to kind of add more color into this mid-tone, or into the very lightest grass. And this is also a really good way to illustrate the middle part of grass. And if you don't want to do the plastic, use the plastic or anything like that, you can just take your tip of your marker and brush a little color onto it with this marker. And this is also called the tip-to-tip method. And usually it gets a little more color on the end of the marker if you use the tip-to-tip method, which is why I like the palette method more, because it's a little bit more subdued. Alright, now that I'm down to the base grass, I'm going to start adding in some more midtones, because I want to add some more darks and lights to this picture. There's typically a lot of dark shadows along the base of grass when it meets the ground. So I'm just going to illustrate that really quick. Now I'm going to add in the darkest tones and kind of try to make it look like there are blades of grass going in front of these dark shadows. Also, if you're going to be doing this, you're going to have to make sure that your dark marker doesn't bleed a lot, because you're going to be wanting it to be able to give you high amounts of detail. And if it starts bleeding on you, it's just going to make you frustrated instead of helping you. And mine's kind of doing that to me. It's bleeding a little bit more than I want it to. Okay, so while I was doing that, I went and added some more details in with the dark marker. And now I'm going to start with the close grass. This grass, I want it to sort of be mid-tone near the base, and then I want it to blend up to a lighter color. So I'm going to start with a with my mid-tone color, and then I'm going to make it lighter as it gets up closer. And grass usually kind of folds in the middle, like a, like a piece of paper or something. And so usually there will be one side of your grass that will be a little darker than the other side. Now I'm going to go over and color all of these strands of grass with G20. And then I'm going to come back with G21 because G20 is really light. Okay, so G21 makes it kind of shaded looking, and it really makes it more dimensional if you shade the foreground grass and try to put as minimal amount of shading as you can on the background grass. And to finish off the grass itself, I'm going to put some more strands of grass in the background, but I'm going to make them blue-ish, like with a blue-green, and I'm going to make them a little bit lighter than G16. I want to illustrate atmospheric perspective and atmospheric perfection. Oh my gosh! I want to illustrate atmospheric perspective, which means that anything farther away from the viewer will get gradually lighter and bluer. Now, since we're so close to this grass here, it's going to look really blue, or really intense, because it's really green when you're really close to it. But as it would get further away, it would get a little bit more bluish in color. So I'm going to come through with the blue-green and just put small blades of grass in the background. It's okay if it kind of covers up stuff, because it's supposed to look unfocused. Now add some plants up there. Now I'm going to come in with some blue and put in some sky, but first I'm going to erase some guidelines. Start from the bottom with your lightest blue and work up, going right over that grass you just colored. You want it to be really unfocused looking. There's how to draw grass. Now I'm just going to finish up this video with a speed painting of the mouse and the ground, and I will see you next time.